And something that, speaking of, things that don't make sense, why did we see Morghese kill all her rivals? Like, what actually was the point of that scene? Didn't establish anything that mattered. We never ever revisit with Morghese again after that episode. She's never brought up. We just know Gabriel is, fucking around there, and we find out, and Elaine finds that out at the very, very end. So she finds out before Rand does, I guess. But
it establishes that even after a succession war, where she has won the throne, let's say more or less fair and squarely through means of arms and the great game of houses, it shows that she is a cutthroat leader because she eliminates all the female rivals to her and her unborn child. That's basically what it shows, even though it was 100% unnecessary. And
because, speaking of things that just don't happen in the book, I mean, if that was actually the way the succession went down, I don't know about it. I never read about it. I was pretty sure she actually ended up, like, making enemies into friends.
She married her husband to help, right? Yeah. She marries whatever his name is.
Terengale.
Yeah, to secure the throne after Tergrain goes. So you already know that she does a decent amount of, beyond that, she does a lot of political maneuvering. Tom doesn't necessarily gush how good she is, but he definitely gives her really high praise.
Yeah, he mentions a couple times that she's the only person that's ever been able to consistently beat him in a Game of Stones. About 50-50. No one else can say that.
Yeah. And if you can do that to Tom on strategy, you're basically one of the greatest players of the game there will be in this time period.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what that shows. It's not a good scene either.
And it's, yeah. And again, it's a fiction from Rafe or from whoever, the scriptwriter. That's not extant in the book.
Yeah.
And we could probably pick a ton of things, actually, that happen in the show that don't happen in the book.
95% doesn't happen in the book.
Like, the scene in Alcair Dal has 5% of the gravitas and impact that the scene has in the book. Rand's awesome hero moment is therefore basically nullified because everyone else has more shit to do at the end than Rand does. Nynaeve and Elaine and Matt and Min all have an epic battle against some Forsaken.
Yeah.
And some much Dark Sisters in Tanshiko to make sure that they can't color the dragon. So on objectively a pretty important task. Rand kind of just goes out in the desert into kind of like a shallow depression in the desert. Says some things to the Aiel and makes it rain, and not like the fun club way. So it's just not very impactful on reflection. It's just sort of it's just not epic. It should be epic, and it's not. Maybe that's maybe that sums up my entire feeling for the show. It's not as epic as it should be.
That's the fucking title for this thing. Season 3 review. It's not as epic as it should be.
And a big part of that, I think, is because they sort of de-dragify Rand.
Yes. Yeah, they absolutely. They declaw him and they de-teeth him. He has nothing to do. A lot more
stuff. And then they make it... The plot with Lanfear, the ever-present manipulation in his dreams and out of his dreams by Lanfear is... It's exhausting because it's constant. It's like 50% of the screen time Rand has, I swear, he shares with Lanfear. I don't know that for a fact. That's probably way overblown. But sometimes it feels like every episode there's a lot of interaction between the two of them.
Yeah, there is.
And to be clear, I like her as an actor, I like her as a character. I think all the casting has been spot on.
I think she's my favorite, honestly, actually.
Which is, it's a good reason to have a lot of her, but the conspiring with Moiraine to drive away
that makes no bloody sense.
I just can't imagine Moiraine of the books making a deal with anyone in the dark side. Not to sound like Star Wars or something, but you know what I mean. None of that. She wouldn't make a deal with a dark friend. She would rather kill Rand than let him fall into the dark friend's hands in the first book and later on.
Yeah, and she even says that. Even in the TV show, she says that. I've been the knife at your throat this whole time. Just kind of waiting. If you go mad or you not going to win the last battle for the light, I'll kill you. And but in the same idea, she'll be like, yes, I'll do this, but then I'll also work with the Forsaken, who I'm pretty sure is torturing the
Oh,
quasi-student.
she had to have known. I mean, why would that question as well to drive
Yeah.
like about Egwene being assaulted? Did he do this to you? Implying that Rand did that in the dream to her. While she knows probably, I mean, she must know full well that it's Lanfear doing it because they're conspiring to drive that wedge between the two of them and separate them.
Well, right there, what you just demonstrated was one of the many reasons why I gave this show in season 3 a 2, is because like just that tiny little detail right there, being like, oh, is he beating you in the dream? Like, first of all, I mean, way
Moiraine wouldn't even know what
the
it
character
was
right
at
off the
that
bat,
point,
and then
really.
B, you flip it around in like 4 or 3 episodes, and then Moraine's like, yeah, I know it was Lanfear. Like, really?
No,
Then why even bother?
shit.
So yeah, like that. Yeah, right there. That's like one good example. To jump to the opposite end of the season, why does Elida kill Suon so fucking quickly?
Yeah, you would think that she would want to squeeze as much information out of here as possible. And, you know, the great thing about the power, the way they use it especially, is you can heal someone like just instantly. It's all great. Heal him and torture him, heal him and torture him, and you'll never really kill him. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
drag it on indefinitely.
Yeah, it happens in the
And
book.
I swear,
so you-
the way they do it, you know, I mean, it's pretty barbaric. I don't know if even the French Revolution didn't do it like standing in the middle of like, well, maybe the guillotine was anywhere and everywhere. It was portable, but it was mostly.
but at
like
least
a
they
town
laid you
square.
down.
Yeah, it wasn't just. It's kind of messy, and just uncouth, just disappointing in their lack of decorum, I guess. You know.
Yeah,
Only having the number of sitters there and beheading her in front of everyone like that.
yeah.
I mean,
It's, yeah,
You
it's
couldn't have asked for a better way to like piss off half the tower too. I mean, at least the Elida in the story can't say that she murdered Swan. Everyone knows that she didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone knows she escaped somehow, which is crazy, but shit happens.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not like you needed a reason to dislike Elida in the TV show.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, I remarked on it at the very beginning, I thought they were going to do something very interesting with her character when she was, like, reaching out to Min, be like, we're both seers, and seeding, like, using her to seed the information to Suon about a special vote for the Hall, and then, falling for that trap and stuff like that. So I thought they were going to make her a little more of a sympathetic character and a lot like show like some of the interesting political maneuvering that she would have to do to depose Suon. But they give you just a crumb of that, and then in like 5 seconds, all right, no, she's just basically a psychotic bitch.
Yeah, they just make her super evil right away, and that's about it. Yeah, they really missed an opportunity, I think, to make her a more sympathetic character and make it more interesting. Like, oh man, she's coming at this from like a reason that I can understand, a perspective that I can sympathize with, even though we as the viewers know that it's wrong or will turn out wrong in some way. We can still see why she did it. Instead, they went in the full evil mode.
Evil incarnate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Evil, negligent, and just sort of like vengefully evil too. Like, let's show a clip of her from 20 years ago, bitterly losing the vote for the Amyrlin seat, carrying that resentment for 20 years of politicking and maneuvering and advising other kings and queens around the world, and then coming back to basically usurp and murder her.
Yeah.
That's
and speaking of
real
another
enlightened way to go about life, isn't it?
Yeah, right. And then speaking of that, like that scene in itself too, the 20 years ago it was 10 years ago, when they're
10 years ago. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. Between like that vote. So the keeper, calls the vote to happen. A few sisters stand for Suon at the beginning, and you're just like, oh look, she's gonna lose. She doesn't have the required thing. And then the keeper asked who will stand for Elida. And then Alviren stands up and then says Suon Sanche. And then everyone else starts standing up and saying Suon Sanche. That's the stupidest scene ever. It doesn't add tension. It actually decreases tension because it just shows that you're a moron. You're going to vote for them. You don't need dramatic, not irony, just drama in general when you're doing a hall vote. It's like it doesn't create anything for the character. It doesn't create anything for the story. And as I said, it just detracts from the story because it takes you out of the storytelling. You're like, wait, why didn't you just cast your vote at the first place? It'd be like, I'm gonna vote for beep, and let's just vote for beep, and then we're gonna vote for beep, and then we'll call it good. It just makes no fucking sense. You can't recall your fucking vote. And that is an aside, but like the whole scene is just so stupid.
I just thought it was unnecessary fluff when there's so much stuff they need to get to. There's no point in. I mean, all right, so I'm all for adding character development and all that. That's fantastic, character moments, but that was possibly unnecessary for Elida, unless they were.
What do you mean possibly?
Well, for the way they wanted to make Elida, evil and vindictive. Okay, they had to set that up somehow. That was a way to set it up. So if you were always going to do that, fine, you got to set it up somehow. I suppose that works as well as anybody. My problem, I suppose, is just that they had to set it up that way at all. That Elida being manipulated by Pat and Fane and co later on is much more subtle and much more interesting. And I know it's not as overt, and you got to wait for that payoff. But come on, I mean, she's going to be the Umberland seat right now. You got plenty of stuff to show with her in there and stuff for her to do. So I don't know. Seemed like a waste of a character, and I'm happy they chose a good actress for it. She sells it well.
They did.
She's great.
Yeah, she is fucking fantastic at playing her. I was very happy when the casting came out and I saw that. I was like, yes! Yeah. Because I've seen her in so many other things. And like mostly I knew it from The Expanse because she plays a good and a bad character at the same time. So I was just like, ooh, this is going to be some great dichotomy. And then I got really excited for like half an episode when that dichotomy was coming to a reality. And then my hope got dashed and my young primal spirit was torn asunder, and now I am an old, aging man bitching on YouTube about how season 3 wasn't as good or nearly as nice or anything that as it could have been.
I think the scene that really, really ruined Elida for me was her in the Umberland study being extremely dismissive and calling her like fisherwoman trash or
like river trash.
River trash, right? Yeah. It's like, man, that's really like. I don't know. Elida's kind of better than that, at least.
No, you're right though. Like, Elida is better than that, and she works, and she has to work so hard to get to that meeting. And all you see in that meeting is her saying, "You don't dress right. Your private quarters aren't gaudy enough because this is a perfect reflection of how pristine and how much prestige the tower has." And
you aren't exemplifying that.
And you don't wear the right clothes. You don't have enough jewelry. So like the whole meeting ended up basically to like 5 sentences of verbal diarrhea for no reason. Yeah, and then she just leaves.
Just insulting her for the sake of insulting her. When she must have already had a plan. She's like, I'm gonna get one in good. Yeah, zing pow.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but even that's stupid.
The Aes Sedai are really, really petty in this. Now, I'm curious now. So we've lost, speaking of Aes Sedai and plot, now Moiraine is gone and Siuan is gone. So 2 of what have been main or tertiary to the main character storylines are, at least for now, on hold. What fills that void?
Who was the first person you mentioned?
We got Moiraine and Siuan gone.
Moraine's
theoretically, you think she's going to survive? I was like,
absolutely.
That's so stupid. Well, then
she's absolutely alive.
But that doesn't make any sense. She said so many times the only way that this works is if I die, unless she like misinterpreted the dream or whatever. And it's really just it looks like I died and got stabbed, just like it looked like Matt killed Rand in season 1 or season 2. Like
there is, yes, like there's that. And since they didn't fall through the red twisted door frame, that's why I'm very sure that she's alive. And plus, she's crying because of Siuan's death.
Which also, how would she have known that? Were they bonded in some way, you think?
Well, no, my guess is because Moiraine specifically said in, like, when she's, like, swearing on the oath rod for the banishment out of Tar Valon for some reason. Well, actually, I know why that happens, but, like, it's stupid. But she says, like, until Siuan Sanche calls me home. So I'm going to guess, or something like that. So I'm going to guess the fact that once Swan dies, Moiraine is then freed from that
oath.
From that
she
oath.
Felt it,
and she felt the oath getting released, and the only
Dude,
way
what if
that
she
could
was?
happen.
Did she have to re-swear all the oaths or just that fourth oath?
Probably just the fourth oath.
Damn, I was like, if she had to re-swear all four, then what if that unbound her from all of them?
Yeah, that would suck.
Nuts.
But since it's not a since it's the fourth oath.
Okay, so she got unbound from that, fine. But all right, so that's just another change that is forthcoming, I suppose.